Oh, wow. Okay. Sorry, guys. I didn't realize that the webinar had started. I'm just sitting here for the first like 5-10 seconds without saying anything. This is Nick from ForexNoobs.com with the daily analysis. Today is Thursday, the 28th of January, 2021. Time is 10:01 a.m. here in the UK. So let's get started with the analysis. Sorry about the late start there. We're 1 minute late. First of all, AUD/USD. This one I got stopped out on. It pushed all the way up to 1.5R, at which point I moved my stop loss to 0.5R, and then the market went crazy, crashed down, and stopped me out. Pretty unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not sure how many of you guys were in this trade. Was it a lot of you? Because we entered it live, but I don't know how many of you followed me into this one. But look, it doesn't really matter. The point is, it's a loss trade. I'm on 3 losses in a row this year. So far, 3 losses in a row. A bit of a losing streak right now. But, you know, 3 losses in a row is nothing. Losing streaks can last, well, obviously they are losing streaks, so they can last a whole lot longer than 3. But yeah, I'm not really letting it affect me. I'm just going to keep trading. EURAUD New Zealand, I know some of you were in this one. Well, no, I don't think some of you were in. I think it was just Godzilla that was in this one. Why do I think this trade failed? I'm not too sure. I'd never really looked into it. I assume it was something news related because it turned around way too quickly for it to be a normal event. Let me show you guys a trick. Now, I show this often, so if you're... Damn it. Can we just... There. If you're around here often, you'll have seen this before. But if not, let me adjust this down to here. Wasn't it before the FOMC statement? I get a feeling it was before. The initial big drop down was at 10 a.m. No, it's a 4-hour chart. Let's go down to the 1 hour. Yeah, the initial drop down was at 12. That makes way more sense because 10 a.m. was the webinar time. So let's say, well, the initial drop was 11, let's say. So looking at the calendar, FOMC was at 2. No, we got the wrong time here. I swear, I don't understand why Forex Factory just doesn't auto detect your time zone. It's such a simple thing to do. The fact that they don't do it is just lazy. I'm on the minuses. Just lazy. So FOMC was at 7 p.m. UK time. The drop started at 11 a.m. Dave, yeah, I mean, totally. It's totally possible that the markets were preparing for bad news. But let me show you just a quick trick that some of you guys might not know. When you go to Forex Factory, if you click on this market tab, you put the pair in that you're wanting to look at. So I've already put in AUD USD. You hit save. You go to the time frame you're wanting to look at. You go to 11 a.m. when the drop started. And you can see the news that happened around that time. Now, in this specific case, it doesn't look like there was any news corresponding to that time. Now, you can tell if the news corresponds because once you hover over the candle, it'll show this, right? But there was no real corresponding news. So I would say that it's very likely that Dave's theory is right. And that the market was preparing for bad news from the FOMC. So I'd probably say, to answer your question, Khaled, that this was related almost for sure to the FOMC. Well, I shouldn't say almost for sure. I'm not that confident in this assertion, but it was probably related to the FOMC because banks, hedge funds, the big boy traders, they don't necessarily have access to the numbers before we do because everyone gets access to the numbers at the same time. But they have access to information that tells them what is likely to happen because they're paying millions per year to companies like Bloomberg, Reuters, and all the other companies that most of us probably haven't even heard of. They're paying millions per year for data, and they're paying hundreds of thousands, if not millions per year to the quants. Is it quants? I can't never remember. To the people who analyze that data. So they know what's likely to be coming with the FOMC. So they were probably starting to position themselves to get ready for it. And yeah, that's probably what caused it. So, so yeah. Any other questions about this one, guys? No, Jackson, it's not. It's not that. I'm just talking about banks. Banks have trading floors, and on the trading floors, there's traders, there's quants, and quants. Just Google what quants are. Anyway, I'm go. We need to get on with this analysis. So let's stop focusing on AUD USD. It was a failed trade. My attitude with failed trades is, okay, it failed. Let's move on to the next one. I don't like to spend too much time analyzing why it failed, unless it's from a technical perspective. And I'll tell you why. That might sound silly, but it's not silly. News is always going to impact your trades. And I found over my almost 20 years experience that it's best to just ignore news. Sometimes news is going to stop you out. Sometimes it's going to get you to hit your targets. It could go for you. It could go against you. When you do back testing, you can never really factor in news unless you want to multiply the time back testing by 10, by 20. You can never properly factor in news when you're back testing. I back test most of the setups I trade, and in back testing, I don't factor in news, and they're profitable. So if I try to factor in news in forward testing, I'm just adding another variable that's going to affect the profitability. It could affect it in a positive way. It could affect it in a negative way. I don't know if it's going to affect it in a positive or negative way most of the time. But through my testing, I have found that it's really just a 50-50 thing. I wrote an article on why I ignore news, and I'll link you guys to the article. And I'm just realizing that you're not seeing half my charts. So let's fix that right now. And let's get on with this. So I'll link you guys to the article, that way you understand what I'm talking about. And George, are you here? If George is here, if you're here, George, can you link the article in chat, please? He's probably not, because he just got a puppy a few days back. Right, so we're still looking for a breakout on... Oh, he is. We're still looking for a breakout on GBPUSD. We're still looking for a breakout on GBPJPY. We're still looking for a breakout on AUDJPY, although this one's probably... I'm just going to take this one off the list because it's turning around now. We'll put it back on the list if it starts pushing up. And we're still looking for... No, the AUD pairs are both gone. So we've got potential, and this is gone too. So we've got potential breakouts on GBPUSD and GBPJPY, which might trigger this week still, or might trigger early next week. USDCHF, still potential for a breakout here. This one's probably going to take a little longer because we need it to move a fair way down. USD CAD, probably off the list for now. So we've whittled down the list of potential breakouts. I'm going to move those off the list. Let's look for some new setups, guys. It's never fun to start the year on a losing streak. The start of the year, you want to get off to some good trades, and there have been good trades. It's just one of those situations where I pick the bad ones and I miss the good ones. But that is the reality of trading. We have a bit of a range here on CHFJPY. Actually very interested in trading a short from the top of this range. So let's wait for price to hit the top of the range for a potential short from there. What were we up to? We're up to, yeah. You know what, with EURAUD, we were looking for a breakout, but that's unlikely to happen. But now we might be able to get a continuation here. I want to see if it stalls out once it properly hits this resistance area here for a potential continuation. This one's not a great one, but we do have a bit of a range forming here. I'll keep an eye for it, but the range is not complete yet. We need it to push all the way back down to the bottom of the range for a long from the bottom of the range. So basically, we need it to stall out here on top of this area and push down to there. Stall out there, and that's where I would trade long. So it's a pretty long way from giving us a trade. So I'll just put that at the bottom of, on the potential setups far list. Far meaning they're far away from happening. Nah. Now, I know some of you newer members might be thinking right now, is he going to say there's a short reversal here? Answer to that is no. Because when you look to the left, it's just a complete and utter mess. It attempted to reverse a few days ago, completely failed here. I have no confidence in this as a reversal trade. I think this area to the left is just way too messy. I think it's going to get trapped in there, and yeah, not interested. Just going to keep an eye on USDJPY for a potential range to form. Still very early days. We need it to back away from here, but let's see what happens with this one. I wouldn't be surprised if a range forms here. So let's keep an eye on that. So guys, what do we have for this Thursday? Not very much. God damn it. I'm still a bit sick. So that cough just shows up every now and then. I feel like 95% though, so, you know, I'm fine to do webinars and everything. It's definitely not COVID. We were tested. Everyone thinks you got COVID. Whenever you do like a slight little cough in public, people are like, oh my God, he's got COVID, get away from him. It's a nightmare walking my dog. I just have to hold in the coughing because I don't want people to like run away from me. Obviously, I'm not getting close to people because I don't want them to catch whatever cold I have, but I don't want people to think I'm like one of those people who's walking out and coughing in public with COVID. Anyway, I'm way off track here. I'm just saying, excuse the cough, please. So GBPJPY, we're waiting for a breakout there. GBPUSD, we're waiting for a breakout there. CHFJPY, it's just in a bit of a range. So we just wanted to hit the top of the range for a potential short from the top of that range. EURAUD, we're looking for a potential continuation here as it pushes back up to this resistance area. I want to see some stalling on that resistance area and a drop down. USDCHF, this one is on the smaller time frame. So we're looking at, all right. We're looking at maybe the 6 hour, maybe the 8 hour. It's just in a potential range there. And similar with USDJPY, we're just seeing a potential range forming here. And Euro New Zealand, we're seeing a potential range on, I guess it's probably best on the 8 hour. Yeah, I'd say the 8 hour. So lots of potential ranging, guys. Honestly, not how I was expecting the year to start. I was expecting trends to really be moving fast this year. But it seems like since the start of the year, we've had a bit of a slowdown. Now, I don't expect this slowdown to last. I just think that things are slowing down temporarily and then they'll just break out of all these ranges they're in. But yeah, slower start to the year than I was wanting, and I'm on a free trade losing streak, but it happens, guys. If you think you can trade without losing streaks, you probably shouldn't be in this business. Yeah, I know. That's like when I first started coughing, I thought, oh no, I've got COVID. And I was surprised when the test came back negative. But it's like, of course, there's so many colds going around every year. We can't assume every time you cough you have COVID because it's winter now. This is when they're all going around. The way I look at losing streaks, Jackson, is, yeah, I'm in a losing streak right now, but if I keep trading, eventually I'm going to hit a winning streak. And when I'm in a winning streak, I feel really good. But if you stop trading, if you make changes to your strategy, if you just mess things up, then you're just never going to get there. This is one of the biggest challenges for traders. Now, it's not a challenge for me any longer because I've been going through it on and off for 20 years. I'm always hitting losing streaks and winning streaks and whatever. It's just a part of trading. But when an inexperienced trader gets into a losing streak, they start having doubts. They start doubting the strategy that they're trading, and then they start making silly decisions. Like they'll say, oh, I've lost 3 reversals in a row. Reversals clearly aren't working. I need to stop trading reversals. But you could lose 5 reversals in a row, and then your next 5 or your next 10 reversals in a row could be winners. Because that's just how things work. And if you're constantly making changes to your strategy, you're going to be constantly getting into these kind of, how do I explain this? You're essentially going to whittle your strategy down to a point where you're boxing yourself in. That's the best way to explain it. You box yourself in, right? You add rules because you've taken a few losing streaks, so you add rules. I'm not going to trade reversals anymore because I've lost 4 or 5 reversals in a row. So now reversals are gone from your strategy. Then you'll find some other pattern like, this is an example of a trader. This is actually something that I get asked at least once per year, but in particular, a trader who's not part of the course, but who was just emailing me, he argued with me on this. He took, I can't remember how many losses in a row on long trades. So he took a few losses in a row on long trades, and he said, longs aren't working right now. Should I stop trading longs? And I said, no, of course not. That's not what's happening. You've just taken a few losses in a row. Maybe your next 5 longs are going to be wins. And he started arguing, saying, I don't think so. I think I'm going to stop taking long trades. So immediately, you lose 50% of your strategy with that mentality. You can't 50% of your trades, if you're canceling out all long trades and only taking shorts across all pairs. It's just nonsensical. Now, that's a very extreme example, right? A very extreme example, because most traders aren't going to just stop taking long trades. But I like to illustrate extreme examples because they show you the flaw in that kind of thinking. When you start eliminating parts of your strategy based on just a few bad trades, you box yourself into a strategy that basically has so many rules you can barely ever get into a trade. But also, you're making changes to something that's essentially profitable over the long term, because over the short term, you're taking a few losses. So you just need to accept that losing streaks happen, and you need to just keep trading through them because your winning streak is just around the corner. But I guess that's all we have time for today, guys. Thank you very much for attending. I'll see you for Tuesday's analysis, but of course, if you're members, I'll see you on the forum beforehand. All you members, I know a lot of you applied for the free mentoring we do for members. There was a huge amount of people who applied. I had to shut it down very, very quickly. Those of you who get in, I'll be emailing you over the weekend with our details. So I'll let you guys know. It's for the free group mentoring hosted by Viet, not by me. So yeah, thank you guys very much, and I'll see you on the forum. And if you're not a member, I'll see you for Tuesday's analysis.